Yeah, so I got up today and my neighbor's been calling me all day, but I was in class. She came to my place at 8 o'clock this morning and she's like, Gwen, they're tearing the garden up. I'm like, what are you talking about? She said, yeah, they're taking it all out and they were all here and Jack said for them to go ahead and take them all out and move them. And I'm like, well, wait a minute, that's like a whole season of busting hump and we're still harvesting food out of here. But yeah, I don't share this with you guys too often, but this is the community garden. It used to go all the way down to the sunflowers. And yeah, so the guys are nice enough to take some of the soil that we spent a few years building up, which has a lot of really good microbes in it and stuff, and the garden with some of the vegetables that are still there, to put them back in. But it's good to know that housing just makes these slapdash decisions without thinking about the cost of it, really. A perfect example of how it costs people more money to be poor. But yeah, I mean, thankfully these guys are, the bottom line is, if I went on to a job and I was looking at a layout, and this has happened a lot, this happens a lot. I go into a job, the architect has a certain way he wants it to go. He expects it to go that way because he has an engineering and mathematical mind. And as a tiler, I have to go in there and say, your math doesn't work, because math doesn't work in this case. And sometimes it's hard to say that, but as soon as I go into a job and I see that there's something in the way or something is not working, I stop the job, I put down my tools, and I contact my boss or my contractor, whoever hired me. And if it's just me, then I contact the homeowner, the person that has to live in the home. So yeah, I call them, and in turn maybe they call the architect or the contractor, or we look at the layout again, and people are consulted along the way, So shit like that happens sometimes. That's why it takes a long time to do construction. They're tearing up the community garden, Steve. They're tearing up half of it without warning. We had no idea that this was going to happen. My neighbor's been knocking on my door since 8 this morning, but I was in classes, so I had to pay attention to my classes knowing that this was going on. They're installing a playground. They want to install a concrete metal playground on wetlands, essentially. We'll see how that works out. Yeah. So, to me, this is the exact opposite of where our nation should be going right now, and especially the state of Massachusetts in public housing. We were eating out of this garden. People were coming over and spending time here. It's become a really healing place. There was a tree here yesterday that's gone now. And so over the last 24 hours, all I can smell is skunk. So they disturbed that habitat. And I've also been seeing a lot of birds coming over to my sunflowers. Yes, they're stealing our food. Yep. So, as you can see, all of our plants are getting shoveled and spaded. And I know they're trying to help, but that's a lot of food that's going. So, yeah, that was our patty pan squash. I mean, this is nothing short of, to me, this is vandalism, but it's also destruction of property, because people spend money on their beds, people spend time is money, and this is what they're doing. And I've been trying to talk to people about this since 2019. Nobody wants to talk about it. I go to monthly meetings, I bring it up. Yeah, well, you know what, Steve? I actually don't have any patience, and I've been contacting legislators about the way that people are treated in public housing. or not treated, and about the conditions that people have to live with for generations. Like, you know, pregnant women living in moldy apartments and stuff. So, yeah, I'll just take you guys over here to see. So, when I went to bed last night, this was a full garden here. And you can see each bed. This is the dill. Well, let's see if I can get it. You can pretty much see. I should back away from it. There's like a patch of strawberries over here, 2 beds of strawberries. You can see where the garden bed was. So growing on top of that, and over there is some pollinator plants, vervain and fleabane, that attract specialized pollinators, and a strawberry patch that was freshly planted, along with some kale. And so, yeah, they're moving these to the best of their ability. But so looking right here, this used to be the center of the garden, and so we just have half of a little garden now. Yeah, it's just a real, and you know, I guess this was the idea, you know, we're no more than a number, just a sheet number. Anyway, so they tore up this is one shared abundance garden that's still intact, and this is all beans, all kinds of beautiful beans. You can see them. These are like, you know, I mean, they're not just any kind of bean either, you know, they're specialty beans that you would get for like a lot of money at the market. But these are for us. And so we have all these beautiful plantings of things that they just came in, and you know, that decision this morning was a terrible, terrible decision. I'm going to go to their houses and do this to their yards. I wonder how they'd feel about that. To me, this is a real human rights issue. It's seriously a human rights issue. And let's talk about what's going on over here and the destruction of the pumpkin patch. So, pumpkin patch is gone, all trampled all over. Yeah. So, you know, people are obviously growing their food here, so why would you do that? Why would you ever do that? This is a lot worse than this is just unbelievable, quite honestly. So Laura caught them this morning, and she managed to get her bed placed in back of her place, because she's lucky that she lives right there. And then I couldn't get down until later, so they moved this bed over here for us and put the soil back in, but it's not going to bring the food back. You know, this is a lot of unexpected work that I wasn't planning on doing, and I have assignments that are due, so it's actually interfering with my life, pissing me off. So, yeah. Nobody was notified about this. They're telling me that the reason that this happened is because the design said that it went further than they thought it was supposed to go. So you stop the job, and they should have contacted all stakeholders. So, yeah, this explains why I had a woodpecker on my sunflowers yesterday, and also a chickadee this morning in my front garden. And also they emptied out the rainwater from this big container here. Takes a little while to get that filled up. Anyway.